What would make you want a tattoo at a haunted tattoo shop?
That's right, we're back at New Jersey's most haunted tattoo shop, the Convent Tattoo in Deptford, New Jersey. Today we're meeting up with Kody Carstens, who's a recent addition to the Convent team. We'll hear his answer to this question and more today on this episode of Tattoos in Review. Now let's step inside and let's get inked.
Hey Kody, thanks for doing this for me today. I know this was last minute and we're trying to fit you in between clientele. Today we are with Kody Carstens at Convent Tattoo. Kody, let's jump right into it, man. How long have you been tattooing for?
About 7 years professionally.
Just recently found out today you're actually from the West Coast.
Yep, I moved out from San Diego last summer, so I've been here just over a year.
What made you come East Coast?
You know, I just turned 50. I've never been to the East Coast. I wanted to come check it out, and I tattooed all the way across the country for like a month and a half, 2 months, and landed here at the Convent, out of all places.
Now, did you know about the Convent's history before you got here?
Nope, no clue.
Knew nothing about it being haunted, any of that stuff?
Nope.
What would make you want a tattoo at a haunted tattoo shop?
Well, not that I knew, but now that I'm here, I came in with an open mind, you know, like, okay, cool, whatever. And they told me specifically don't choose the booth that I chose to tattoo in, because people either leave because they're scared or they get fired. I said, I'm here to break that. So I've been here at the Convent, like I'm going on 3 months almost.
Okay.
I have had a few experiences. Somebody tapped me in the back of the head. Sometimes I feel like I'm walking through spider webs, and I've heard clapping upstairs in the lunchroom.
Right on.
Those have been my experiences as far as that. Great crew. I love everybody here. The owners are awesome. My coworkers are great. We all feed off of each other. Yeah, it's fun.
So you said you've been tattooing about 7 years professionally.
Yeah.
Where did you serve your apprenticeship at?
So I started my apprenticeship in the state of Oregon. You got to go through something called tattoo school. It's a permanent color technician. So I did a 6-month course of that. I knew a guy. He was my trainer. So I just worked off the fees. So I did that under Jags Tattoo up in Southern Oregon. And then I got a job offer out in Arizona. Okay. Shortly after that. So I moved out to Arizona. Tattooed there for about 2 years with Jason Grant out of Long Beach, out of the Pike. Learned some new school tricks from him. I learned some of the really neat ways of building needles, like back in the day what we used to do. I had moved over to Southern California, and I started working at Old Town Pasadena. And I got in a car accident, shattered my hand, ended my tattoo career. I got into the smoke shop industry for 15 years. But I would tattoo a little bit here and there on the side, road travel or friends. And about 2 years ago, I seen this shop in San Diego hiring called Last Days Tattoo, owned by John Teakin. Super cool dude. He brought me in, and yeah, I've been 2 years into it every day. And I'm here at the Convent now for almost 3 months. Super stoked.
So you've done a lot of West Coast stuff. Now you're here on the East Coast. I know you've only been here for a couple months. Do you feel like there's a difference between West Coast style, East Coast style that you've seen so far?
That is a great question. The difference that I noticed was down in Philly, a lot of traditional tattooing going on. You know, traditional tattooing will never die. It's big on the West Coast as well. The vibe of people is definitely different.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just different.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it here.
I mean, I lived in Arizona, so I noticed right away when I got out there.
Right.
Way more laid back, way more almost slower paced.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a negative vibe against East Coast people.
Yes.
Yeah, which, look, I understand. I mean, we can come off abrasive and too fast paced, so pretty cool to see the difference.
Yeah.
Definitely a different drive style.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on we have this stigma over there on the West Coast that people over here are all assholes. It's not true in my opinion. You're going to have assholes no matter where you go.
Exactly.
And I've had nothing but great experiences over here. The driving though, however, good thing I didn't bring my motorcycle.
Yeah, it's definitely different. So Kody, what would you say is your style of tattoo?
I like all styles. I don't do realism. I mean, have I? Sure, but it's not my forte. I believe I'm still honing my style, but I really love, whether it's a small piece or a big piece, I love the intricacy in the tattoo.
Okay.
Like I said, it could be 4 inches tall or it could be 18 inches tall. I just love the intricate stuff, the black and gray, but I also like color bomb as well. Like I said, I'm still honing my style. I really enjoy tattooing. I just love being with the people and throwing out the energy and doing a good tattoo and a good experience. I think it's really important.
Now, did you draw a lot as a kid? Were you artistic?
Yeah, I was grounded a lot, so I drew a lot. And, I grew up in the 80s in the skate scene. So we did a lot of tagging and artwork on our skateboards. I don't have any official college degree in art or anything, but, growing up in San Francisco, there's just such a huge art scene as it is. And growing up with that was very motivating to me.
So I'm going to go back to this real quick. So you said you went to like a tattoo school?
Yeah.
How long was that?
That was 6 months.
And that officially served as like an apprenticeship?
Basically, it is an apprenticeship, but it's for the state.
Okay, to
So-
get like, certified.
To get certified, right. And Oregon is like the hardest place to get a license at. And I did that 99, 2000. So that license is way expired, but I learned a lot. Back then, we had to do needle building, machine tuning. Back in the days when we used to stay clean flux and you're inhaling all that stuff and using all the jigs, mixing inks from powder, the traditional old school way. So I got to learn a lot of that. Unfortunately, I got in that car accident, so I've got a big window. So it's really neat tattooing again, just for 2 years, because it's kind of like a fresh start. It's like, I'm new to it again. Instead of being like tattooing the last 20 or 30 years and being burned out like a lot of my friends. Well, I still enjoy it, but you get a burnout on any job.
Well, I think that you learning those things are things that now aren't necessarily being shared with new tattoo artists.
Yeah, I totally agree. Nowadays, I'm not even loyal to the coil anymore. I've got a pen machine. Interchangeable cartridges. It's not due to laziness, it's convenience. It's great. And I can actually tattoo longer. I don't cramp up as much. I don't have a cord anymore following me all over the place. I can run around a chair, all cordless. The funny part about transitioning to the pen was for the first 2 weeks, I would air hit looking for my foot pedal, but I'm over that now.
So you said you don't necessarily have a style, you don't do realism, understandable.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with a client that comes in with like a unique piece that they want to get done? How do you go about that challenge?
Okay, so first of all, if you come in and you tell me what you're looking to do, and I feel comfortable with doing it, I'm gonna get in your brain, I'm gonna dance around, and we're gonna put something on paper, and we're gonna make it happen. If it's like, let's say somebody comes in and wants a portrait. I know that I'm not a portrait artist. I will lead them to the right artist. I won't tackle anything that I can't do. I've done a few portraits, but I definitely don't claim the fame. I would definitely turn that over to somebody else that does portraits and specializes, but I love a great challenge.
Can you get into maybe an exciting or a memorable tattoo that you've done within the past couple of years since you're back into it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of them. Last day's tattoo. My very first day tattooing there, I haven't tattooed in a shop in quite some time. Ribcage piece. We all know those are a pain in the ass. I did this beautiful, it was a peace sign with a tree and roots growing all around the peace sign. That was a really neat one. I'd say the strangest one I ever did was a 65-year-old white man came into the shop and wanted his penis tattooed black. That wasn't in the last 2 years. That was only 6 months out of my apprenticeship. So I don't know if you're gonna keep that one or not, but that was interesting.
You're definitely keeping that.
Okay. So my daughter came out. She's up in Portland, Oregon. And she came over and she asked me to do a matching tattoo with her. I currently have a traditional tiger on my leg. I think you might have seen it on my reel. So I tattooed a matching tattoo of my daughter. To me, that was cool. And I've got to do some really cool stuff here. I just started a half sleeve dragon. The dragon starts here and it's wrapping around his arm.
So how do you keep up to date with new tattoo styles, new techniques?
I'm very fortunate to still be in contact with friends that are tattoo artists. Sometimes I'll come across, what should I do about this right here? I'll call my buddy Johnny Blaze out in San Diego, or my boy Joe, and just pick their brain and just go from there. And then I work with Amber. She's youngster, so she knows like all the new school stuff. Yeah. But I've been using the pens for like 2 years now, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. If I have a question, I'll call somebody or ask somebody in the shop. We all feed off of each other.
So during your time of tattooing, have you tattooed anybody famous?
I did recently, last summer, I tattooed a Kyle Petrie. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, bro. Well, he's about to go pro baseball. So he's not famous, but
About to be,
hopefully, possibly. Hey, that'd be cool,
Right on.
But yeah.
we talked about real quick, you said, guys burn out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, what gets you up in the morning, man, about tattooing?
It keeps me up all night, and it gets me up in the mornings being fresh again, and just the way tattooing has evolved. It's so awesome to just try to keep up with everything and challenge myself. I recently went from pen and paper to an iPad, and just using that as a tool. At first, I was clowning it. I had this thing for like a year and a half. No, I'm not. But it's a great tool. What motivates me is just coming to work and meeting new people and just playing in their brain and putting stuff on paper. A lot of times people come in with their own idea, but I'm like, can we just twist it up a little bit, make it a little more yours? And they usually give us freedom. So
yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that, not copying a piece, making it your own.
Absolutely.
Is there anywhere you won't tattoo?
Canvas is canvas. I've tattooed pretty much everything on the human body. Do I like tattooing everywhere? No. Will I refuse? Probably not. I'm down for the challenge.
What about if you had a young kid come in and wanted to get his face tattooed?
Probably not. So actually, I got a good story. Last summer, this kid come in, he's like 24, 25-ish, and he walked into the shop. He was a walk-in. I love walk-ins. I love the interaction. I love being like on the spot. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. That's another thing that drives me back to that question. What drives me also is working on a piece all week and getting that person to come in and like actually going from paper or iPad to skin. That's what drives me. That and just the customers, the clients that walk in, that just want random stuff and let me change it. Anyways, back to the kid's face. Yeah, he came in and he wanted to get a tribal piece, kind of like Mike Tyson. And I told him, bro, I'm really not comfortable with doing that. And I said, we do hold some laws in the shops, common laws, etiquetteism,
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm just going to go to the shop next door and get it. I said, that's all right, though, but just give me 5 minutes of your time and let me explain to you what I've come across as a tattoo artist, having neck tattoos and some face tattoos. And 20 minutes later, he shook my hand. He goes, thank you, bro. I'm not going to get my face tattooed. I really appreciate that. So that made me feel kind of good.
Right on. I've asked numerous people that, and they've said to me, hey, look, man, if somebody comes in, they're completely sleeved, they're covered. Okay, maybe.
Right.
If somebody's got 1 or 2 tattoos, and then all of a sudden they come in and they want their face tattooed, I'm kind of trying to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Especially if they're younger, too, man.
Especially if you're younger.
Both of us are sleeved. We get the stigma that goes with it.
Right.
Whether I'm at the grocery store or, I work a corporate job, wear long sleeves.
Right, right.
So we get it. I think younger people don't. They just automatically assume it's okay because somebody else has it.
Especially people who are famous. And they're like, oh, a lot of people, especially the young people, I don't think they realize it is forever. Yeah, sure, we have laser. But come on, it's a big step. A neck tattoo, a hand tattoo. If you're fully covered and you want to get your neck blasted, your face blasted, you're in the industry, let's go all day.
Yeah, I mean, you've already kind of proved that you've conquered that stigma, so to speak.
Right, yeah, so to speak.
I know you're just coming back into the game, but what do you think about like tattoo conventions and stuff like that?
Honestly, I haven't been to a convention in probably 10 years. 10 plus years. I did like conventions. I used to do Ink Slingers Ball, Iron Horse Rodeo. I did a couple up in Portland, Oregon. They were fun. It's become so mainstream now. It's hard to explain. Like I said, I haven't been in so many years. They were fun back in the day. Now that I'm older, I'm just kind of just chilling. I heard the Philly one's real good, so I want to go check out theirs.
So Kody, now that you're on the East Coast and you're kind of settled in, you plan on staying on the East Coast?
Yeah, man. I don't see myself leaving. Sure, I'll go back home and visit maybe once or twice a year. I've been doing so much traveling lately, or this last year or two. I'm ready to drop acre. I've met some really cool people out here. I'd like to buy a house out here in the next couple of years, wait for these interest rates to go down. And I just love being here at the convent. Because, I'm learning daily. Sophia she's kind of like a mentor to me. And she's very patient with me. There's been a few times where I'm like kind of stumped on a certain thing and I'll go to her and she'll pull me right out of it. So I'm very excited and I look forward to seeing everybody out here. Come on in.
Great shop, great people. It's got that haunted thing, which still blows my mind a little bit.
It's crazy. It's real.
It is real, for sure. I mean, I've experienced it on multiple occasions now.
It's a good vibe, though.
Definitely a good vibe.
It's not scary.
Kody, before I wrap this up, do you have an Instagram page?
I do. Yeah, it's KODY TRAVIS Carstens. That's Kody Travis Carstens.
If somebody wanted to get a tattoo done with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can DM me on my Instagram, or you can text me at.
No.
You want people doing that?
Right now, I actually have a flash special going on, and I do pop-up flash specials. I want people to know, even though it's flash, I try to make each piece as individual as possible and a great experience.
Kody, appreciate you doing this for me, man.
Thanks, brother.
I definitely appreciate you taking the time, and thanks again for doing this.
Catch you on the flip, brother. If you like this video, make sure you click on this link.